Hey guys, welcome to House Moms of Travel and Style. Um, my name is Ernell, and thanks to the few subscribers I have, I hope to gain more subscribers, and I hope to be an inspiration to anybody that's going through anything that's like mental health, anxiety, anybody that's a single mom that don't know the way out or that just need guidance. That is my goal for this channel, and also to share my journey with the life I am building for me and my beautiful daughter Belicia. But I wanted to make a debut on my journey and testimonies on mental health. Especially, I thought it was perfect since we just had our 20th Hurricane Katrina anniversary. And you have to excuse the bonnet. I did make up my eyes and stuff because I take pride in my appearance, but I just want to say excuse my bonnet because I am going to be working on an order after I do this video, because I am a gourmet treat baker. So I didn't get to do it yesterday because I was working on my best friend's daughter birthday cake. So today, I'm going to do it today. I just had to do it. For some reason, this year kind of hit hard for me and opened up my eyes to the tragedy that hit us. And I'm trying not to cry. But, I remember I was 22 years old and I'm 42 years old now. And I remember I was a young college student. I was living with my fiance at the time in the Lower Ninth Ward, right by the Navy base. My address was 6425 Valjean Street. And I loved that house. It was a nice, cute 2-bedroom house. Quiet area. And I was just blessed to have that home. It was furnished with my late grandmother Ethel Allen, beautiful furniture and stuff. So I really didn't get to enjoy that because I lost it all during Katrina. So I remember you have to give me a moment because I remember like it was yesterday. We all left. It was Hurricane Katrina came on a Monday, and I'm assuming we left on a Sunday. I thought it was a Saturday for some reason, but it was a Sunday. And we left on a Sunday. And I'd had no idea. I remember that Friday I went to Delgado because I was a college student there. It wasn't my first year at Delgado. I think I was going on my second year, fall semester for nursing. I was in the medical field, wrong mistake of my life because that was not the career that God had for me. So I always thought I was destined to be somebody, like somebody being my own boss. At that time in my life, my aspirations was to model. So I was into that. I was also into, I just knew I was destined to be great. But not in the medical field. So at that time, I was going to school for nursing. It was our first day at school for the fall semester. It had to been like August. If Katrina hit on the 29th, we had the 28th, the 27th. It had to been August 26th. My first day starting back at Delgado. I was in Hispanic. I was taking Hispanic. Hated it. And I remember it sitting in the classroom, so excited to start. At the time, I didn't know. At that time, I did not know the 22-year-old me that I'll be changing my major to business a year or two later. I was trying to hold on to being in the medical field. I wanted to be a pediatrician. So I remember sitting in class, being excited. I loved the classroom and stuff, excited to start fresh the following week. And I remember our instructor said, okay, we'll see y'all next week or whatever, not knowing that there won't be a next week for class because Katrina came, so we had to evacuate. And I remember it was a beautiful Sunday morning. Sun was shining bright. Beautiful Sunday. I had no idea because I didn't really watch the news. I didn't really know what was going on. I was kind of clueless. And so my mother called me and said, Ernell, we and my other family on my stepdad's side was like, oh, they leaving, everybody packing up. A hurricane is coming, it's going to be bad. You need to figure out what you're going to do. Throw something together. You either come with us or you go with, at the time, and this is my past, at the time with my daughter's father, who I was with for years. We were together at that time, living together in the night war. And she was like, you need to come on and leave. Or pack your stuff and go. So because we were living together, I decided to stay and wait to see what he was going to do, and we leave together while my mom and my brother and them, they went to Alabama first. And so I stayed and waited. We was going to Atlanta. And so I remember how I just grabbed my tote bags, tossed a few clothes. I had just went school shopping. I just had bought a bunch of clothes from Old Navy, shipped to my house. I just went shopping, excited for, school and stuff. And so I just tossed a few clothes in my bag, not knowing that would be the last time I'll be in that house. And I actually have to set my camera up. I actually have the bags. This is my bag that I had the day I left my home. And this was in 2005. And I also have another bag. I have two bags that I got from Old Navy. And I just tossed whatever I could. I just took some clothes and tossed them on the bed. Because I knew we was going to get some water. But I didn't think it was going to be underwater. And I had a pet bird that I had since my daughter age. My daughter is 13 now. And so I had a beautiful parakeet that I had for years. And I put her on top of the fish tank that we had. And thinking we was going to come back. I felt like if water got in the house, she won't get flooded or whatever. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I don't think none of us did. But I want to thank my stepdad family for encouraging or telling my mom that we had to go, because I would not be here telling this story. My story is not tragic like the ones that stayed, but we all are survivors because we all lost everything. We were basically homeless. The only difference was we wasn't homeless like the type of homeless that be out on the street, because we had family. But I had an address. My mother and my stepdad had their address. I was not living with my mom at the time. I had my own place going to college at that time. And so it was furnished with my grandmother's furniture that I took pride in. So I never got to really enjoy that furniture or that house really, because Katrina came. And but that's material things. So we could get that back, but we can't get our lives back. And I know, I just remember that day that I left, that it was such in a rush. I remember being bumper to bumper with cars. We all was trying to get away from New Orleans. It was hectic. We spent hours stuck in traffic. We was on the highway. It was hot. We just was trying to get out of there. All I had was 2 tote bags of clothes, and maybe $20-$40 to my name, my credit card at the time. Because at the time I had A1 credit. I had credit. So I remember just having that. And I had my life. And that's all that mattered to me at the moment. Because I really thought at that time I was going to come back home and start back where life would be in New Orleans. I know it was hard for me. It was hard for all of us. Living with other people that you're not used to living with and stuff. And, and you don't want to be a burden on people. Or anything, and things just didn't work out in Atlanta. So I remember I came back. We left Atlanta and we went to Slidell because we had a family friend. His house wasn't damaged. It was a lot of wind damage. We went to Baton Rouge, and then I went on and went with my mom. I met up with them, and I was in Texas for a while. I was in Texas for a while. Try to pick up my life, and I remember the first time I saw my house, I just cried. I didn't even go in to see nothing. It was too infected with mildew. It was destroyed. I saw one of my purses laying on the cement. And I thought about picking it up, but I didn't even touch it. I remember when we came back to the city, and for a while I didn't get to see my house because they didn't allow us to go in the night war right away. It was like a war zone. I was one of the first people to come back to go back to school. That was a few months later. That was maybe. I ran across my stuff. So that was in 2006. That was a couple of months later. Delgado and City Park did open back up. But the city was still chaotic. It was like a war zone. Things still needed much love, much care. Building. People still was out of homes. A lot of people was still in trailers probably. Buses wasn't really still running. I had to go to the West Bank to register for school. I was able to come back, but it wasn't the same. And I fell into a deep depression, because I was in my early 20s, couldn't get a job. I tried to work part-time and go back to school. It was very hard, and so I just I didn't have much work experience because I went straight to college after high school. Very fortunate to get to do that. I didn't really have much work experience, but I was a fast, quick learner and computer literate. And I thought because I was in college and I took pride in my appearance that I would get a job anywhere, but I just didn't have I didn't have my first job till I was 6 years old. I didn't have a first, that was my first time ever having a real job. Because I always been about my education, and I was fortunate enough to have parents that supported me. And I, but I always wanted to be independent and have my own. So I fell into a depression because things just wasn't the same no more. It was very hard for people to pick back up their lives and start over. So when I saw the documentary from Hurricane Katrina on Hulu, it really opened up my eyes of what was really going on down here while we was on the highway leaving. Far worse than what we went through. And I couldn't even imagine going through that, because if I didn't have no family, or my mom wouldn't have called and told me, I would have probably been right there, or either in my house and dead. my friend told me her tragic story, and when she stayed and she saw and the devastation they were in, and my heart goes out to everybody that went through this. Is it just I'm just glad to be here, to be alive. I'm just glad to share my testimony. I remember around that time when I lost everything, I was just really lost trying to find my life and myself. And I didn't really know what to do. I knew what I wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to get there. And I just didn't know. I was stuck. I was really stuck. And I have a few things that I posted pictures yesterday. This is by the Navy base, our house. This is my daughter's father food truck. He had a food truck at the time. I don't know if you could really see everything. They have houses that look far worse than that, but the pictures doesn't know justice because it was horrible. It was really horrible. It really was. It's really horrible. This is this was by our house, the barge, and this is my neighbor's house. Their house has shifted to a whole nother, like, farther down from us. They were literally across the street from us, and his house, it looked like it was turned in a whole nother direction. And it brought back memories of my neighbors and who they were. I don't know if they ever left or if they are alive today. They lived across the street from us. I don't even remember if we ever said goodbye or if we would touch base with each other. But I remember it was a nice family. It was like a older son, his mom and brother or whatever. They lived across the street from us. This is my mother's house. And that's my car. That was my 1993 Mitsubishi Galant that I bought, my first car. And it was left behind during Katrina. And you can see the X mark on the door. Yes. So pictures doesn't know justice. You had to been there to see it with your own eyes, because I feel like when you look at my pictures, some people might think, oh, that don't look too bad, but it was horrible. I remember one of the things I did was I broke down and cried. So it was horrible, and I don't wish that on nobody. And to the ignorant comments that I've been seeing on Facebook about we the people destroyed the Superdome, and we were refugees, or how could they be shoplifting? And it was about survival. If you watch the documentary, you would have a whole nother mindset and gratitude, because there were people that were far worse than us, and the conditions that they were living in, they treated them like they were criminals. The guards walking around with guns, and the white people that shot and killed blacks for going on in the West Bank. And the West Bank had opened up. They were up and running first, I believe, because they didn't get hit that bad like in the city area or in the Ninth Ward. And so it was very dangerous for those that stayed in the West Bank that were black, because they would have got shot or killed. And who gives you the right to be so ignorant and cruel because of the color of our skin? And the city really did people wrong. The government or whatever, they could have been much better. It could have been done way much better. People died bodies floating in the water, and being not hungry. And the messed up thing I realized, why should you care if they were breaking in and looting? Because the stores is filled up with water. The stores are damaged. By the time they come back to the city to restore what they have, all that stuff, that food gonna be bad. It's gonna be gone. You can't eat that. It was about survival then, with us, with people trying to make it. They went days without proper food and water. People were dying. People were even getting raped in the Superdome. It was tragic. And you could, and most of the ones that had left so much negative comments were white people. It took a lot for me not to comment the way I wanted to. Because hurricanes do not discriminate. It affected all of us by race, not just blacks, whites and blacks. And so I just thank God I'm here to share that, my story, because with me, I think it was hard living with other people, try to find myself. I was, even though months later I was able to come back home, but at that time in my life I was not happy, with my life and how it was going. It was really about survival and having stability. And 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 I went through a depression where I hated my life. But it was nothing but God and prayer and talking to my mom every day that I gained the strength to know that there will be better days. And then I'm 42 now. And I have one beautiful daughter. And after I had my child at 28 years old, things started falling into place for me. And that's when I knew, being a mom, I'm going to be a boss. I'm going to go to hair school. I'm going to work for myself. My story is my testimony. It's not for nobody else to understand or to understand, period. It's my story and my journey. And and I also last weekend was cleaning out my closets, and I ran across stuff from Katrina, and it was very touching. And I ran across my bell salt bill, and with my address on it. And as you can see, it had something about Katrina, Hurricane Katrina. This is memories. This is memories. I also have my Red Cross card that I got because a few months later in Texas, we had Hurricane Rita, I believe. We had a lot of wind damage and stuff. We went through a lot. We went through 2 hurricanes. We had to evacuate for that. And during Hurricane Rita, we were able to get Red Cross help. I have my card, that my debit card. I still have it. I keep everything. I have my paperwork from FEMA that I filed for everything that I lost. Everything. I lost a car. I lost my home. I lost furniture. I lost a pet. I lost things that were special to me that I thought I would have for years to come. And but I didn't lose my life. You could get all that back, but you can't get your life back. And you just can't. And and speaking of mental health, I dealt with anxiety bad, and my daughter as well. And I just wanted to come on, and I'm gonna come on here to speak about my journey of with that, and how to help others, because I want to help others, and I'm helping somebody now that's very close to us. And I'm gonna be doing a care basket, so I'll be doing a video of that. um you know I just I wish there was more for me to say. I'm kind of lost for words. But I hope that me just being a listening ear to people, or just sharing my testimony, because it took months for me to get back on my feet and go back to school. I was able to come back. I remember coming back to a year later, going back to Delgado. There was still no buses running and stuff. It was very hard. Everything was not rebuilt yet. The city was still rebuilding. I couldn't even go check my house. We couldn't even go check where we live because they wouldn't allow us there. So it was a mess. And I was literally living from post to post, from Beaumont to New Orleans, and trying to figure things out. All I know, I just wanted to go back to school and build my life up and get a part-time job, and because I did wind up getting me another car by the grace of God, and being independent and driving and stuff. But I was still stuck and figuring my life out. But no matter what you go through in life, you can overcome it. And there are brighter days. And while you might seem like there's no brighter days and you can't move on, you can. I really have more to tell, and you'll be surprised with what all I went through. And it's just not Katrina, because I went through a lot. And that's where Ernell's Gourmet Treats came about, with my struggle as a single mom. I just knew I wasn't gonna work a 9 to 5 and work for nobody else. I wanted to. That's not why I busted my behind for 2 years at hair school. I just had to do something, and that's a whole nother story. But I just wanted to share how it was for me that day. It might not sound dramatic. If you was hoping for a dramatic story, that's not me. Because I did leave. I think what from the aspect of when people left from Katrina, is that the devastation of that is not going back to our homes, being away from, not knowing where certain family members were, and and not having everything no more, and picking your life back up now, staying with other people. And it took months. I remember standing in line for food and clothes, and sleeping on cots at my aunt's house, and shout out to them for looking out for us. Sleeping on cots with a bunch of us, just trying to survive and make it, and not knowing when we would ever come back home to New Orleans. If I would have stayed, it would have been far worse. But it still hits home to me, because New Orleans is where I was born and raised. It's my home. I love it. Even though I always say I have I'm blessed with best of both worlds, because my dad, he's from Maryland. My mom is from New Orleans. So I was blessed to travel all my life back and forth. But New Orleans was always home to me. And so it was devastating for all of us to go through that. And I just want to give a moment of silence, if we could do that, for those that lost their lives, for all the children, the elderly, people that couldn't make it, that couldn't get out their homes. I just want to say a prayer to them. And just a moment of silence and just pray and you know, for the loss of people that have died. So I just want to do that. Um, if you're gonna watch the documentary, I recommend you get a tissue because there's gonna be some tears. I understand if people don't want to watch it. Some people can't watch it. Um, but I'm glad I did watch it because I had no idea. I knew we was bad off, but I didn't know the way how they treated people at the Superdome and the convention center. It was horrible. I could even, I'm not sure, but I remember when I came back a few months later, it some people say they remember, they will never forget the smell in the city because we had so many dead bodies in the water. So just wanted to say a prayer to them. You know, and I can't imagine the kids. They probably grown now. That was 2005. I hope they get to tell their story, because I can't imagine being a child going through that with your parents, and you know, and y'all had to stay, and the mothers that had babies holding them in their arms, and it was so hot and funky and dirty, and it wasn't dirty because of us. It was dirty because of the conditions. They didn't have food and water for days. So what you expect? What do you expect? So I just want to say, before you say anything ignorant about us as blacks or being refugees, think twice and educate yourself. It only takes a minute or two to read up on something. Stop being so judgmental, because that could have been you at the Superdome and with the roof ripping and tearing apart. Because I know it would have been me sitting there and wondering how I'm going to get my next meal, feeling dirty. And I can't stand being dirty. I can't imagine what they went through. There was one man said we all was smelling. And he felt so embarrassed because he couldn't even wash himself. You know, couldn't even wash himself. So that'll be all for today. I really wanted to touch base on this video because of Katrina, and also mental health. And I will talk about my testimony and what I went through and the symptoms I have and had, and help educate everybody on how to deal with anxiety, severe anxiety, because everybody could have anxiety, but everybody don't go through symptoms that could affect your daily life, and it affected mine. So I just want to touch base on that and educate people, and I hope you be back and subscribe to my channel if I don't delete it and do it over, because I'm a perfectionist. I'm doing, as I'm talking to you guys, I want to delete it now, but I have to, you know, get over that if I want to be a blogger and YouTuber. My daughter is phenomenal at what she does, but I know this was destined for me. God brought me through everything I went through, my trials and tribulations, to help others. And I want to help others, especially with mental health, because when I went through it, there was not too many blacks talking about it. There was help videos that had related to what I was going through, but it wasn't like, a lot of people still don't know about it. They be amazed when I tell them how to heal from it with no medicine. So I have a sis that I'm working with now. She's dear to us, my neighbor, and I'll be doing a video putting up a basket for her, and to show you what things you could do, because that video will be about support. While you feel like you don't have nobody to talk to, it's good to have support, a great support system to talk to people, build a foundation, and do something. I don't care if it's tea or whatever. Build something. So I'm gonna show what I think that helped me, and I'm gonna build a basket for her, a self-care basket or gift bag to give to her, and to show that we care and love her, and we want her to get through this, because you're not alone. So I love y'all guys, love you guys, and peace out.